Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about SparseMatrix and how to find transpose of SparseMatrix. So what is matrix? Actually, matrix is a collection of number of elements and those are written in the form of rows and columns. So matrix is a two-dimensional data object which is made up of 2m rows and n columns, and therefore there will be total m by n values. And what is a sparse matrix? If most of the elements of the matrix are 0, then that particular matrix is called as a sparse matrix. One example is provided over here. This is nothing but this is a 3 by 3 matrix. So there is going to be total 9 numbers in this particular matrix. But out of this 9 numbers, only 3 values are non-zero values and rest of the 6 values are 0 values. Now how the sparse matrix can be represented? Okay, now whenever we will store such a sparse matrix which has a number of 0 elements, then lot of memory will be wasted. So if we store the sparse matrix in two-dimensional array, then we need to store 0 values also in the memory. And whenever we are storing 0 values which has no importance, lot of memory, lot of computer memory will be wasted. So there is one more representation which is called as a triple format. Now what is this triple format? Triple format has 3 values. One is a row, column and value. Now what is the row? Row is nothing but in which row the non-zero value is present and its respective column value. Okay, so if you can see, this is the 3 by 3 matrix and how that particular sparse matrix is represented in triple format. Here you can see the row value is 0 and the column value is 2 and non-zero value is 1. If we observe, or all of you know that whenever we are implementing array or whenever we are implementing two-dimensional array in C program, that time our array indexing starts from 0. Okay, so this is nothing but our first non-zero value is nothing but 1, which is present in 0th row and 2nd column. The same thing is represented in triple format. So the 0th row, 2nd column and the first non-zero value is 1. Respectively, it is done for all the values 1, 2, 5 and 3. If we see about the value non-zero value 3, then the 3 is present in 2nd row and 2nd column. Here we are considering that our indexing starts from 0 as it is done in as it is done for array in our C program. Now what is transpose of matrix? Transpose of matrix is nothing but changing the every column value to the row value and vice versa. That means we move whatever numbers are present in row to the column or whatever values are present from column to the row. That is what is a transpose. Now what is a transpose of sparse matrix? In case of a sparse matrix, it is very simple. What we have to just do is we just need to swap the column and the row values. Okay. So here, if you can observe, row value is 0, column value is 2. If we just swap, that is the row value will become 2 and column value will become 0, and your non-zero value will remain as it is. So it is nothing but it is transpose of your sparse matrix when your sparse matrix is represented in triple format. Next is, what is the application of sparse matrix? Basically, sparse matrix is used to solve the partial differential equation, which is a very much important part of linear algebra. Now, whenever in case of a social media site, whenever as all of us know that in social media site we have a number of friends. Okay, so now whose friend? So this particular relation is stored in the form of a graph, which eventually can be represented in the matrix format. Okay, so suppose if I have friend A, B, but C is not my friend. So relation from my side to the friend C will be 0, and this is the way how these relations can be represented in matrix format. So here also sparse matrix plays important role. Now we are going to discuss about the algorithm for implementing the transpose of sparse matrix. So there is a one more efficient algorithm where first we need to find out the all values from column 0 and make row column changes. That means when I say the make row column changes means you just need to swap the row and column values. But for which column we need to do it? For the column number 0. Then we will do it for column number 1. Then we will do it for column number 2. Okay. So from entire list, whatever values we have stored, we need to scan or we need to do it for column number 0, then column number 1 and column number 2 and so on. Due to this, whatever the final output we will get, final transport output we will get, it will be in the order manner. That means row 0 will be represented first and then row 1 and row 2 like that. Okay. Now we will discuss that particular algorithm. First we are going to accept the sparse matrix in triple format. We will declare the 2D array, say it as a mat. Then they accept the number of rows, columns and non-zero values of sparse matrix and it will be stored in first row of your mat. Okay, mat is nothing but it is a variable which is a 2D array. So this second point is very much important. The first row of your variable will be number of rows, number of columns and number of non-zero values. After that, from the second row onwards of your mat variable, you need to accept the row number, column number and the respective non-zero value. Okay, and those will be then afterwards will be stored as an individual row of your mat variable. After that, we will display the sparse matrix. Whatever values we have accepted, those will be displayed. And then we will calculate the transpose of sparse matrix. We will iterate through mat or we will iterate through our variable, that is a mat variable, for each and every column value. Okay. First we will iterate through entire our sparse matrix or entire our mat variable for column number 0. Okay. And then for column number 1 and column number 2, like that. Okay, finally we will display the transpose of sparse matrix. Now this is nothing but this is a simple pseudocode. Pseudocode is nothing but it is not actually your code. Okay, it is just a dummy code which you can see. Now first is our variable mat. Here you can see 0 0. As I have already said or as we have already discussed in algorithm, the first row is going to give the information about that particular matrix. So first row, first column will be number of rows. First row, second column will be number of columns. First row, third column will be number of non-zero values. All these values we will accept. After that, from the row number 1, till the number of non-zero values. Okay. The number of rows in your sparse matrix will be your non-zero values, total non-zero values plus 1, because the first row is going to store the information about that particular matrix and the remaining rows is going to store the actual your non-zero value or actual information of your non-zero value. Okay, so here again the accept the no number, accept column number and accept the non-zero value. Wherever your non-zero value is present, you need to accept the row number and the column number for that particular non-zero value. Then we will calculate the transpose of sparse matrix. Now this mat underscore transpose is nothing but it is a variable. Now in this case, whatever are the column number of columns in your sparse matrix, now it will become the number of rows for your transpose. Okay, so what we are doing is from 0th row first column we are copying those values from 0th row 0th column. Okay, we are just copying the number of column value, number of columns to the number of rows and the number of rows to number of columns. Next is how we will calculate the transpose. Here you can see there are two for loops. The first for loop is nothing but it is for the number of columns which are starting from 0. Okay, as we have said, first we are going to find out all those values which are in column 0, then column 1. So this first for loop is going to iterate through our columns. Okay, and inside that the second for loop will iterate through number of non-zero values. Okay, so whenever mat j1 is equal to I is nothing but your column number. So whenever column 0, whenever you will get that column 0 is there, then you will just swap the row and column values. Okay. Now this is nothing but this is the expected output. Here first we have just accepted the number of rows and number of columns, then we have accepted the number of non-zero elements, non-zero values, then we will accept each and every non-zero value in triple format. All this information, number of rows, number of columns and number of non-zero elements will be the first row of your two-dimensional array, which will be the first row of your two-dimensional array. Okay, then the first value we have accepted, second value, third value, fourth value and fifth value, like that. Then the number of rows, number of columns and number of non-zero value, this is nothing but this is your sparse matrix. After that we have performed the transpose of sparse matrix. Now here you can see first what we have done is we have considered the column 0. Then again we have traversed through the all the rows, and wherever we find the column number as a 0, there we have performed the swap. So in this case we have first swapped the values which is so this is all about the transpose of SparseMatrix. Thank you.